The world that we live and the universe of which the world is a part are creations of not just wonder but detail, elegance, and system. Basic fundamental laws which govern all of these were discovered in three phases. The first one was the pre-16th century phase, where it was considered that everything is geocentric. The earth is at the center of it and everything is revolving around it. That time church was controlling how the discourse of science or how the discovery of science and how the exposition of science is made to the general public. It was considered that everything that is above the earth is heavenly. And all these are controlled by God, and therefore they must be symmetric, they must be in perfect harmony, and nothing that we see in this world will in general apply to things which is cosmic. A lot of people were persecuted, including the likes of the great Galileo, who told that Earth it is heliocentric or sun-centric. In the 16th century and 17th century, when two great men, Kepler and Newton. Newton came nearly half a century after Kepler, but he was a genius. All of us are familiar with the laws of motion of Newton, and we know that he gave us the concepts of inertia, or everything continues in its motion in a straight line or in a state of rest unless an external force changes that orientation or that inertia. The second law and the third law, which is reaction and action and the concept of momentum, he gave also to the world the differential and integral calculus, the sense of gravity, and his theories continued for at least 2.5 centuries till about early 1900s, when Einstein's theory of relativity and his theory of gravity overrode the Newtonian theory, which is known in physics as classical mechanics. Although Newtonian concepts were found to be invalid in general, but despite that, even today, the Newton's laws of motion can explain the majority of that happen in this world, including gravity, except probably when things are very much apart, that is like light years apart, or something is traveling at the speed of light, or at extreme gravity like black holes, etc., which were explained by the Einstein's theory. But today we are going to go back a little from Newton and go back to the era of Kepler. In fact, Newton's laws of motion were taught to us in intermediate, but the Kepler's laws were taught to us only during honors class or during our masters in physics class, because they were more mathematical and theoretical, and Kepler, a scientist who lived, as I told, 50 years before Newton, tried to bring together a set of laws which explained at that point in time the movement of planets and also some of the unexplained things in the universe. Before Kepler, circle was considered as the form in which planets must be moving. Kepler was born in Germany and he was not a success initially, but he was a great writer, great thinker, and a great articulator. He migrated to Austria to do odd jobs while taking forward his scientific pursuits. In Austria, there was a thought that astrology and astronomy are akin to each other. So Kepler was offered a job to draw almanacs and cast horoscopes. And from there, taking cue from all the other observers, he brought out mathematical models to explain the movements in the universe. During that period, there were only 6 planets that were discovered, and the last 3 planets, namely Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, were not known to mankind. So his first study or research, he tried to bring geometry to explain, because there are only 5 real solids and the theory of polygons, to explain that there could be only 6 planets. But it was still not explaining, and his initial theories were a grand failure. So he studied the laws of motion and tried to bring them together. The first law of motion was that the planets move in elliptical orbits. And these elliptical orbits have 2 foci or 2 focus. One of the focus, there is Sun. This is the first law of Kepler. The second law of Kepler, which was equally good, was that when planets come nearer to the Sun, they travel faster, and when they go away from the Sun, then they travel slower. As a result, the second law of Kepler said that the planets sweep the same area of the ellipse, irrespective of wherever they are and what speed they are traveling. Very important and useful in explaining the planetary motion, which not only impacted mankind but also was instrumental in discovering so many things later on. A real combination of bringing together the power of mathematics, theoretical physics, and astronomy was what is his third law of motion. The third law of motion told that the square of the period of the orbit is equivalent to or directly proportional to the cube of the distance. P square is equal to A cube. P is the period in which the planet orbits, and A is the astronomical distance, or 1 astronomical unit is the distance between Earth and the Sun and its cube. Now, what my physics professor used to give an example, and many science fiction and science books have also told about it, is taking the example of Jupiter. Jupiter, its distance from the Sun is 5 units, in the sense that whatever is the distance of Earth from the Sun, if it is taken as 1, Jupiter is 5. Now we know that P square is equal to A cube, so A cube is 5 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5, which is 125. So what is the square root? Because P square is equal to A5, what is the square root? Square root is like 11.1 or 11.2 of 125. Now that is exactly the period that the Jupiter takes to make a circle. It takes around 11 years to make a circle around the Sun. So this was so groundbreaking that Kepler was considered as one of the greatest. And he didn't stay there. He moved on to say that why the planets, when they go towards the Sun, they move faster, because there is a sense of magnetism. Although it was no magnetism, it was a sense of gravity, or it was the factor of gravity. His work during that period laid the foundation of the concept of universal gravity, which is considered so crucial in explaining advanced physical phenomena. Newton, Kepler, as 2 great initial classical mechanic propounders who gave from gravity to inertia to planetary motion, to explain the elegance of the universe and the greatness of the universe and the order inside the universe, lived nearly 500 to 600 years back. And today the lessons, the thoroughness, the genius of them guides mankind into more and more of original scientific research. Thank you very much.